Hello, everybody.
Why are you so loud?
So they can hear me.
We have the microphone right here, sweetheart.
Oh, well, hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Dr. Willie Jolley.
This is Dee Taylor Jolley.
And we are here, happily married Monday with the Jollies. And we are grateful for each and every one of you who have made this part of your weekly routine to tune in, check in, and look at, whether you watch it live or you watch it on the replay, our program to help married couples and people in relationships to have greater success in their love, their money, their time together and communication. And so we're grateful for all of you. And for those who may be seeing this on some other platform, we are Dr. Willie Jolley and Dee Taylor Jolley. We wrote the book, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. You can get that at Amazon or on jollymarriage.com. And we come together with people on Monday nights at 9 o'clock here on Facebook Live to present this program to help married couples with some of their issues, some of their concerns, some of their problems. We've been married 34 years. 34. And we dated 4 years before that.
And you were a pup.
I was. And we've been together 38 years. Wow. And we got married 34 years ago. We haven't had an argument in over 30 years because we learned some principles, some secrets from some wise mentors that helped us go from arguing. Those first few years were tough. From arguing to being able to go through the challenges without arguing. Now, that don't mean we always agree. We disagreed about something last night. Didn't we?
We don't have to say what it was.
We don't have to say what it was. But we didn't argue about it. We just discussed it. And that's what we want to get couples to do, to get past the arguing. And you know what? I heard a great quote.
And listening. Because how argue, you're not listening to the other person. But you respect them enough to listen to their point of view and to see if it has merit. Or if you're just going to be stubborn and not listen to them at all.
Communication. I heard a great quote. Communication and talking are like toothpaste. Once it's out of the tube, it's hard to put it back in. Isn't that good?
Oh, yeah.
That makes a good visual.
Yeah.
And once it's out of that tube, it's hard to get it back in. So sometimes in arguments, people say things that are they can't take back and are very hurtful. In fact, we have a friend whose marriage ended because she said something in the heat of argument that was
hurtful. They
very
couldn't get over
hurtful.
it.
They couldn't get past it. It was very hurtful. And so that's why we say we don't argue and we watch our words and watch our communication. That's what we want to help people
And I
do.
will tell him, this is how it makes me feel.
Now, for those who don't know, she hit on one of the big points in the book. We have a whole chapter on communication. And that chapter is communicate, talk to each other.
This is what you said or what you did, and this is how it made me feel. That might not have been his intention.
The 4 F's.
But the end result is, this is how what you said or did made me feel.
That's right. Those 4 F's are be friendly, be frank, be fair,
And focus on a positive result.
and positive result. Now, the big one that kind of trips people up, friendly, most people know that. Don't be hostile, because that is clear. The hostile people put up defense mechanisms. It's the frank part that trips people up, because what people think that when they say that you're frank is you did this, or you are this, or you. Oh no.
I think you're saying that frank is an opportunity to insult people and to hurt people's feelings, and that's not what we're talking about.
And, or to
It's
say,
to be able to state the facts from your perspective without saying.
making a accusation.
Yes, that's a good word. Accusation.
Now, here's what we want you to do when you're frank. Frank means this is how that made me feel. Tell the truth. This is how that made me feel. And if your feelings were hurt, you say it. If your feelings were disrespected, you felt disrespect. I felt disrespected. I felt hurt. And sometimes men, men don't want to tell that they feel hurt. They were hurt by something that was said.
Because it's not manly.
They don't think it's manly, but I tell you in a minute if you said something that hurt my feelings, don't I?
You do.
I say
And sometimes I think you say it because you want me to apologize quickly when I want to have a long, drawn-out conversation. You're just like, oh, you hurt my feelings. And say, you're sorry. That's what you say.
I do say that. Okay,
I'm
so
sorry.
we work through that, and we don't beat up each other about the sorry part. If you hurt somebody's feelings, say I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. That was not my intention.
And you have to be serious about it. We joke about it now.
Yeah, but
because we're so far down the road.
Yeah, we don't dwell on.
So communication is everything, and I don't want to get off topic.
Okay,
because the topic for tonight is
topic for
dirty
tonight.
laundry destroying your marriage? How do you like that for a title? Is dirty laundry destroying your marriage? Now, what does that mean?
Destroying your marriage.
So,
wow.
Our subtitle for this evening is some strategies to prevent your household chores or lack thereof from becoming a problem in your relationship. So that's why the topic is dirty laundry destroying your marriage. And here's where it came from, because I'm online doing research and I came across an article that talked about Yelp. Here's where it came from, because
I'm trying to.
What? What?
So is dirty laundry destroying?
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So is dirty laundry destroying your marriage? So I came across this article that came from Yelp, and Yelp is a business directory service.
Right.
So the Yelp also rates and evaluates businesses, but it also does surveys and research. And so recently they did an article entitled Modern Love and Household Responsibilities. I said, well, let me read that. Let me see what that is about.
Okay.
And really what it is, they did a survey where there were 2,000 respondents. And the topic was, are chores interfering with your relationships? And it was really very interesting. And according to a psychologist by the name of Sharon Weltfried, who's a licensed clinical psychologist, she's saying that one of the most common problems that couples have is household chores. So it's not, but it's not really.
My friend Jake Gwynn. Well, ain't that something? Hey, Kenneth Gwynn.
Good to see you.
Right.
Good to hear from you.
Juke Gwynn.
So that the problem is not really the chore; it's what the chore represents in terms of communication.
Right. So
what becomes important to me in terms of household stuff, if you don't respect or don't acknowledge or make fun of me, which is what you do about me and the dishes.
Let me tell you about the dishes.
Let's not go.
Let me tell you.
And so he makes fun of me. And so I have to explain to him, I didn't grow up leaving dishes in the sink.
That's not my issue with the dishes. I wash the dishes, and then she got to rewash them.
Okay, that's one of that.
Oh.
But I don't do it in your presence.
No.
But we've been together so long, though. But I rewashed the dishes. He washes the dishes, sometimes by hand. Then he puts it in the dishwasher, or he washes it and puts it on the counter, and there's water in the dish still. And he says, the water will just dry.
The water dries.
Washes the dish, and the water drips on the floor, and he says, it's just water, it'll dry, but then there'll be a water spot. He's like, it's no big deal. Oh my God, it drives me crazy. So we're getting off track.
All right. So what is the impact of these chores or these Yeah, right.
What?
When did I learn to wash dishes? I do know
He,
how to
ne-
wash
he
dishes.
never really. I don't think he ever really learned that. But that gets to the point that we each have. We've grown up in different households with different cultures.
Yeah, because
And
I
what
grew up in
was
a
important
household.
to you? And I think I was telling Cheryl that today as we were talking about this article. I was like, well, Willie had a housekeeper in his family, and maybe that's why he doesn't know how to clean.
Well, we had a housekeeper because my mama really didn't do that.
Well,
Okay,
I understand that because your mama was raised by her father.
that's correct. My mother
So
was
she
raised
didn't
by her
have
father.
she didn't know how to do household chores. So it made sense to her.
Well, you're making a statement then that men don't know how to do household chores, and that's they say my grandfather. I never
Okay,
met my
okay.
grandfather. Was a very meticulous.
I apologize.
All right, there you go.
I
I'm
apologize.
calling you
but,
on that.
But according to the research from
Now,
Yelp
my
and
mama
some
just didn't like to
other-
clean up. Okay.
Okay.
I
And I understand that. I
Now,
can understand
she did
that.
raise us by a single parent, and it was different than in the she was raised in the 40s, or in the 30s and the 40s, and he was working on the railroad. So
he was not there to teach her how to do household.
but I don't know why she didn't. So I'm making an assumption. I think we're making an assumption why she was not fastidious. But we never grew up in a house where
where it was important.
That's
to
right.
put everything away.
No, we were
And to fold
boys.
the
She said,
ta-
"You boys be boys." My brother and I were
Now,
boys.
see, now I disagree with that.
Well, y'all just be.
Because William knows how to fold towels.
Yeah, but she
and how to
just
put
said,
stuff
"Be
away because I
wild, do
taught-
your thing, go." And we did chores, but
Like what?
we took out the trash and garbage. And,
And you know what? According to all the surveys that I've read, that is what men do. Now, you're going to tell me that's sexist?
No,
From
that's-
Huffington Post article that was done in the UK from 2014, they did surveys of couples and said, how is the division of labor? And in majority of the instances, they call the men took care of the bins. Now, bins means they took out the trash. Tell me what you do.
So I'm a well-known speaker. I'm a best-selling author. I'm a nationally syndicated radio host. Let me finish. I've got every award in the speaking industry, and I take out the trash. She has me taking out trash. That shows you I'm very humble. I'm domesticated.
So that's your number one thing you do. You take out the chores. You take out the bins or the trash.
I do take out the trash.
Right.
Yes. I collect the trash.
And
take
what
out
else
the trash.
do you do, sweetheart?
On
a regular basis.
On the regular, I wash clothes.
You wash your own clothes.
Yes, I do. I wash my clothes because the reason is when we were early in our marriage, one time she washed my clothes. Now this is Miss Clorox, okay? Everything.
I should have stock in Clorox.
You should have stock in Clorox. She got Clorox. Every room where there's a sink, there's Clorox. And so she Cloroxed some of my clothes and messed them all up. I said, from there, I'll do my own clothes. I'll do it. I got that. So I do I take out the trash.
You wash your own clothes.
I wash my own clothes, and I make up my bed.
You make up your side of the bed.
And
that was a learned thing.
That was learned.
And that was something that we had to have a conversation about.
We had to work through that. And that took some time. Because I grew up in a house where you didn't have to make up your bed. And I
had to talk you through it.
And I believe you were going to get right back into it that night. Why wake it up?
And I had to tell you how that made me feel.
Yes, she said that's where it got me. She said she didn't say you little ragamuffin. She didn't say that.
Sloppy. I didn't say that.
No. She said, this is how that makes me feel to come to the bedroom. And it is not.
It's a mess.
It's a mess, and it's not romantic.
Yeah, that was the right word for him.
Oh, that got my attention.
The right communication, the right words to use in terms of communication.
She got my attention when she started talking about it didn't make her feel romantic to come in the bedroom, and it was messy.
So that becomes a drain on the relationship.
Well, brother man want to get? Brother man want to get hooked up.
Which goes back to the Yelp article, which says that the frustration over who's to do what with the chores is a drain on the relationship.
So I learned to make up my bed.
You did. You do a good job
I,
of
I
it, too.
and I never not
Yes.
make up my bed now. This has been years.
Yes.
Years. I make up my
And
bed.
you started
every.
making up your bed when you were still singing and entertainer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Before I became speaker.
So that was important. So let's go back to the research, and then we can
Hello,
talk about the key
Olympia.
points. Hi, Miss Olympia.
Olympia is going to be working with us on our marriage seminar, and many of you want to know we still are talking about how we can make your I know August is a slow month for many people on vacation, but if you're still interested, you got to call us tomorrow morning if you want to be part of our marriage seminar this weekend. It's going to shut down if you don't call us by noon tomorrow.
I didn't know that. By noon tomorrow. Okay.
There won't be any more spots.
Okay.
All right.
So Yelp says 80% of the people who responded, there were like 2,000 people who were couples or said they were couples who responded to this Yelp survey this spring.
Okay.
And 80% of those who responded said they had disagreements about chores.
They had disagreements about
And
chores.
80% that said 20% of the 80% said they disagreed often.
Really?
About the chores. And here are the categories.
Okay.
The issues problem was when to do the housework or the chores. And I thought we didn't really have an issue about that. Mm-hmm. And then how to do it. We have problems with how to do it. And then who should do it. We didn't have problems with who should do it. We just kind of, I think we kind of fell into it because you didn't know how to cook. And when you tried to cook with that chicken breast in the broiler.
Ho. Don't talk about my chicken breast. William says it's good.
William
says my chicken is really good when I cook it in the broiler. He said it's really good. He said that's dead.
All right, sweetheart.
And my rice, and I can make some.
Yes, honey. That works. That is why I do all the cooking.
I'm going to take cooking classes, though.
Oh.
I have told myself that's my next thing I'm going to do. I'm going to take cooking. I'm going to take...
Okay, sweetheart. It's okay. You do that. Just like I paid for flying lessons for you.
You did.
And what happened?
I went once. And I realized that I'm the wrong one to fly a plane. I'm way too optimistic. Way too optimistic.
He multitasks,
and
which
so
is not
I
a good
multitask.
idea.
I'm ADD, and so here's what I would say: the forecast would be rain and storms, or something not quite right with the plane. I'd say I'm an optimist. It's gonna be fine. Let's go.
All right, let's go back on topic.
Wrong for a pilot.
Back on topic.
Get somebody else to fly my plane.
So the issues with the chores are number one: who should do the housework?
Right.
How to do it?
Yep.
And
when
to do the housework.
So what we see.
And I was sharing earlier today.
Did I tell you you look beautiful tonight?
Thank you, dear.
Men, let me tell you something. That was just, I wanted you to see.
That was a distraction.
I wanted you to see that I tell her all the time because she turns me on. You got to tell your wife, she turns you on. When she look good, tell her. It conditions that behavior. She'll look good more often. Tell her, you look good.
Put on some lipstick and some eye makeup.
You look so good. Gentlemen, brothers, it works. I'm telling you, it works. Talk to your spouse, your mate, your
talk sweetly.
Talk sweet to them. Come, let them know when they looking good. Let them know. Don't take it for granted. Make a big deal because you want to keep them conditioned and encouraged. People need to be encouraged.
So first major issue is when to do the housework and who should do it. That was not really an issue for us when we had the kids here because they were the maids. We paying
the food, the kitchen,
and I
food,
think
refrigerator.
That can be a bit of an issue today because when the kids were growing up, there was no Saturday activity until the chores were done.
That's right.
Which was cleaning the toilets,
cleaning the bathrooms,
cleaning the whole bathroom, which includes the toilet, their bedrooms, a washing of the clothes, the folding, and just generally just straightening up before they could go out.
Yep, and it worked.
And then the discovery was when they were all gone, it was you and me, and oh my goodness.
We had to get a housekeeper.
When I started to say, well, I don't understand why the bathroom looks like this.
We got to get a housekeeper.
And nagging is not. It's
Nagging
not a good
is
thing.
not the way
no,
to do it.
But you said, well, why don't we get a housekeeper? I thought, a housekeeper.
Housekeeper.
I can do that.
Yeah. Speaking of that, she just put a point where I want to make sure everybody heard her say this. Nagging does not work.
Or at least on you.
Well, I don't think it works for anybody. Nagging is wah, wah, wah. After a while, wah, 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 wah. They don't, nobody's listening. So don't nag. We talk about it in nagging in the book and leave the drama with your mama in the chapter. Leave your drama with your mama, and no nagging. That's not pretty music to your ears. The Bible even talks about it. It says a nagging spouse is like a dripping faucet.
Gets on your nerves, huh?
Gets on your nerves.
And you don't listen at all.
You don't listen. You turn off.
All right, so let's go to, you said, well, why don't we just get a housekeeper? And I was like, oh, I can do that. Now, having said that, Yelp said that the third largest survey item that they in their survey categories is outsourcing cleaning.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
Oh, wow.
So we're kind of like on target with that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what are the things that help people?
Okay,
let's see. Let's see. Jake's stepdad always said that he had to do something for the house before he could leave to do something he wanted to do. Right.
That's a good, yes.
Yeah, do something for the house. That's exactly right. And so we made sure the kids got some encouragement and some incentive. You want to go out, you want to do these things, we need to have these chores done. And we out working every day.
And it benefits them.
Yeah, and we working trying to bring in the money to pay for food and private school and so forth. So anyway, let's go through it.
All right, so here's some suggestions, unscientific, but some things that have worked for us, and based upon some of the articles I've read that I found that agree with what we had to say. Okay, so first we talk about to communicate. Communicate really means to talk about what is important to you and why.
Ooh, okay. You hear that one? Talk about what is important. What is important?
What
like she
is
said,
important to you?
The bed, making up the bed was important to her. Mm-hmm. And why? Because she grew up in a home where every bed was pulled, all the sheets were pulled tight, and the bed looked beautiful every day, and made her feel good when she walked in a room with the bed made up and really looking, the pillows all fluffy. And that made her more sexy.
Amorous towards him. At the end of the day, when I go to the bedroom and I see how beautiful everything looks.
Y'all know what I'm saying? All right.
So make no assumptions. So number one is to communicate and to actually talk about, here is what I would like, here's what I expect.
And why.
And why.
Now, how many of you are talking about, that's the thing I want to ask, how many of you are talking to your significant other and saying, here's something that is a concern, and not pointing a finger and calling them sloppy or messy or disorganized, but saying, here's what would make me feel this way.
And why is so important. Like, I know you came from a household where there was chaos. Lots of love, lots of fun.
Lots of love. Mama, the sweetest woman. My mama was the sweetest woman I had ever met. And I met a lot of great women. She was sweet. She was just a sweet person.
And the chaos didn't bother her at all.
She didn't really care about no. We had a time when in our basement before our band where you had to walk through about there was a pathway about this big, and everything else was just stuff. It's just. She had old papers from kids she taught in 1952. We'd find papers that she had graded. She couldn't throw them away. She loved these children. She loved being a teacher. And so it was what it was.
And so some of that is rubbed off on you. And because I understand that, I work at not being as anal as I could be. Okay, because I want to be a minimalist and throw like 95% of everything away.
She is.
Because I understand, and because we've talked about the kind of household he grew up in versus the kind of household that I grew up in, then we can compromise.
Yes.
But we have to actually talk about that and why we feel that way.
Yes.
And with me, I was in charge of the household.
Yep. Okay.
And my parents worked all the time, and I have an anal personality, so I'm constantly putting stuff and folding. I'm not going there.
She said it. OCD. Look, sometimes I know certain things are supposed to be in a certain place. I just come and move them so I see her shake.
So number one is to communicate.
Communicate. We communicate about everything.
Is to talk about what your expectations are. Yes. And ask questions. Well, how was that like in your house? Well, why do you do that? Why do you leave dishes in the sink? So I had to work on that.
We worked through that.
And we kind of worked through that.
I wash my dishes
You're so much better.
I know. I wash.
And I don't even complain about it like I used to. I say, why are the dishes in the sink?
Because I'm going to wash them later. I had to let it soak.
Yes, sweetheart.
You know, that was really before we got the dishwasher and so forth.
Yes, so we had to work through, but the understanding of how it was done in your household. So you have to come up with some new systems by talking about it. Yep. Not all your way, not all my way.
And we could compromise.
Communication, compromise. So
now let's talk about compromise real for a second. Biddy and Dexter Clark. We when we were putting the book together, and again, for those who might be joining us, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Guy Who Made Marriage. We interviewed a lot of couples. Biddy and Dexter, they've been married for 40-some years. And we had them at dinner. We said, what's the secret to this long marriage? We've never seen you argue. And they both said it almost at the same time, almost a stereo. Compromise. That each one of us is willing to compromise. It's not always her way or always my way. We compromise.
But I think you compromise because you care about each other.
Right.
You genuinely care about each other. We better hurry up.
Yeah, Joe, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Okay?
Yes.
All right. 2.
Decide who will do what.
Then keep your word. I like that. That's who does what and keep your word. There's certain things that my wife says she would do, and there's certain things I will do. And we do them. We don't.
They use the word DYI.
DYI. DYI?
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
Isn't that right?
DIY.
Okay.
Do it yourself. Do yourself it.
When you have your own individual projects, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
When you get your little screwdriver and you're going to fix the doorknob or something.
Fix something around the house.
And that's not what you normally do, and I praise you.
Oh, she says.
And
Hercules,
he does the little chores. He changes the light bulbs.
I'll change it. I take my little screwdriver and I say,
that's
"Did you see me work on that?"
Yes,
and
I reward him.
And she said,
"So that's major in our relationship.
You got a tool belt, Mr. Workman."
So that's important in our relationship.
Yes,
okay. So whatever it is you're assigned to do, you need to do it. You need to keep your word. And here's something: a chore chart, a CHORE chart. Especially when you have children and you have little kids and are teaching them to do their particular chore. And that idea, the idea of the chore chart, that wording came from Cheryl.
Oh.
So like we had notes on the refrigerator as to who was doing what. But now with the visuals, okay, this is Saturday and this is what you do.
And with
maybe
electronics,
vacuum, maybe sweep, or
there might be some new electronic ways to do it too. I mean, we were at a seminar the other day, and the trainer or the expert was teaching the differences between the baby boomers, the Generation X, the Gen Y, and the millennials, and how they do things different. Like we might say, where should we go get something to eat? I don't know where. And
I might put it in the computer.
They say, Siri, where's a good place to go eat? And Siri will tell them where to do it. So it's amazing how lives change. Okay, our time is almost up.
Okay, so let's do 3. Adjust your chore list. Be willing to adjust your list because stuff happens. And we don't want you to, and you don't want you to marriage to break up because somebody is breaking up about chores. Last one. Okay, express gratitude for effort. You might not get it right. Like one of the points with Yelp was that they said 61% of the people who said that they would go behind their mate and re-clean after their mate cleaned. I was like, oh my God, that was me. That's her. She could wash the dishes. I thought I washed all the dishes. But I did it when William was little, when I was teaching him how to wash dishes, but I didn't let him know because I wanted to encourage him. If he didn't get it quite right, I wouldn't say, oh, he didn't.
But you said your parents did the same thing because you cooked, and the first time you cooked, you burned up everything.
Yeah. Well, Daddy, I needed bread so long when we did biscuits. They were just nasty. Mama said, I'm not eating that stuff. And Daddy said, I'll eat the baby's biscuit. And he took a bite. Whether he ate the whole thing, but it was enough encouragement for me to want to cook for him always. And I really became a really good cook, even though you wouldn't know it now.
Now, let's talk about that. when we were raising kids, we never ate out. Ever.
Well, we couldn't afford to eat out.
We had both kids in private school.
We could not afford to eat out.
School.
And it was okay.
And she cooked every night. Because as I was hustling, trying to bring in the money, and I didn't cook. I cooked my little chicken. But hey,
and you worked in the evening.
But let me tell you this. Now that the children are grown, sometimes I gotta figure it out on my own.
There's always food in the refrigerator, sweetheart. Now, see, you're not telling the whole truth.
But it might be vegetarian food.
And what's wrong with that?
She's vegetarian. I'm a meatitarian.
I'm a cheat.
Anyway, she's
a cheating vegan. Something between
vegan.
Vegetarian and
so
vegan.
our time is up. You know what? We go so quick.
Okay, so let's go back through our list of.
Hope y'all enjoyed this tonight.
How to prevent.
Thank y'all for joining us.
Yes,
by the way.
Thank you. So we're saying to communicate, to talk about what your expectations are, and to listen to your partner's expectations and make no assumptions.
Right. No assumptions.
So you need to decide
Nobody
who will
married
do what. So you need to decide who's going to do what, and then you need to keep your word.
Keep your word.
And then maybe you need a chore chart on your refrigerator as a reminder of who's going to do what on what days. Particularly if you've got kids and you're shuttling, who's going to take somebody to basketball, football, the ballet, etc. Then be willing to be flexible so you can adjust your list.
And we did that.
Happens.
And sometimes one of our chores was when the kids were growing up, who would take who where, and we worked it out.
Yes.
And we worked together. We were a team.
Yes.
And that's what we want you to think about. You are a team. You're working together. Keep your part. Keep your word. Do your part. Make it helpful for your mate, and be open for the reward that comes from it. Why do I keep coming back to sex?
That's all on your mind.
Because that's what men tend to think about sex.
Okay, express your gratitude for. Oh, it's so wonderful. You picked up the kids, gave me some extra time.
Yes.
You washed the dish up. I'm just so excited.
Show me
no
how
kitchen,
happy
no
you are.
dishes in the sink. And that
make love,
and
make
then
money.
Don't nag.
Make it last. Go get the book. If you don't have the book, get 2 copies. One for each one of you. And go through it. Each person, lady bought one the other day, said I had bought one for my husband, for myself, and my husband kind of read a little bit, but then I wanted to read it. Do it with 2 books so you can go at your pace, and then discuss at the chapter endings what you wrote in your corners. Then we got the new workbook. Get the workbook at jollymarriage.com. And finally, we have the live 2 CD set that was recorded live. It's hilarious, it's profound, and it's serious conversation about sex, money, and communication. So we're Dr. Willie Jolley.
This is Dee, Taylor Jolley.
And we are the Jolleys. Jolley out. God bless y'all. See ya. Bye. Hey, share this with everybody you know, by the way. Bye.